Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
Hello, Whitney.
Hello, Leigh.
Whitney, you are a force.
I'm a force.
You are like sideways as big as my pinky. But when you get up on stage and you start guiding and doing your magic voodoo, you are powerful and in your element.
Thank you.
And it's so beautiful that we'd met once. And we didn't really even meet me because you had a class.
Yeah.
And I just sat down and had never done a breathwork class before.
Mm-hmm.
And I started it like I do everything that I do. God let me have the full experience of what is possible from this time. And then I just jumped in and did whatever the hell you told me. And I wore this outfit for you. So this is star power because I've had a couple experiences back in the stars where I think I really am observing a little piece of my forever having a human experience.
Yeah.
But I've been there 2 times that were so magical that I got a tattoo of a star.
Love it.
And when you did the breath work and I was doing that kind of breathing pattern, which I hope we can dive into a tiny bit, my body got tingly and then I saw psychedelic and I felt so connected to everything on the planet and everyone near me and the chair I was leaning back on and everything. I was like, and it was something that like I woke up and I was like, I think I said this after the class. You're like, well, you want to share about your experience? I was like, I can never walk down the street the same. I can never act like this didn't happen. I must share the power of what we can experience when we allow our mind and heart to open. Yeah. And you give that gift.
Thank you.
And I want you to tell me how old are you?
I'm 33.
You're 33. That's my favorite number.
Yeah?
Yes.
Here we are.
I love 33. How did you get in this so young? Because my ass is 53 and I just fully got into who I am and why I'm on the planet. And you got a head start. How'd you get there so fast?
For me, it doesn't feel fast, but my trajectory into this work, I have a background in acting, writing, kind of the creative arts. And I really entered that field, I think, searching for ultimately what I'm doing now, a connection to other people, deep intimacy, a connection to my body, a connection to something greater than me. And so I grew up in South Dakota and I was always like a seeker. And then when I moved to LA to pursue acting, I kind of was opened up to all the possibilities that LA holds, you know, the mysticism and all of the meditation and all of these different things here. And
you didn't grow up with that in North Dakota?
South Dakota.
Gosh dang it.
No.
I thought it was a good listener. Damn it to hell. Let's take 2. So you didn't grow up with that in South Dakota? No. So you had to just come here and see it. Go, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it so much. And I love too how you said you came in with one way thinking, I just want more and I'm seeking. I'm a seeker too. I always have been since I was small. Like, why did that just happen? Why is that person mad? Why is my mom in bed? Why? I always explored with curiosity everything as opposed to getting taken down to the mat with everything.
Yeah.
Like just explored it with curiosity, which I love still to this day. Keeps me fresh.
So fresh.
So you came here as an actor. Did you graduate from college?
I did.
With a degree in?
English and theater and communications.
I love college so much because
I did too.
In my mind, college is a stepping stone between your parents' house and the world. So it's a little playground for 4 years.
Yeah.
Where you're still maybe on your parents' bill, but you get to explore kind of who you are, not in their home. I think it's a gentle transition.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that I make percentages up all the time. But
love
I
it.
do
I
love
do
the fact that between 1% and 5%, I usually say 1%.
Yeah.
Do not find work in what they graduated in their degree. So it's just such an interesting thing to me, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer.
Totally.
Right?
I mean, it's been interesting because I see how all of those tools that I learned in communication and in theater and in writing and in acting, improv, all of that are now contributing to how I get to share my work and my vision in the world. So,
And your gift,
my gifts,
right?
yeah.
Your gifts. Because that so reminds me that I did stand-up comedy, a one-woman show,
Yeah.
improv. I did all of these kind of things to build my voice and my muscles. Then when I got the spiritual thing, I was like, oh, all of this can fuel spirituality from my point of view.
Yeah.
Because I know who I am and what my talents are.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think I don't want to say the world, I'm just making up
Say
things
the
too.
world.
The world, but so many people are seeking for a conscious spirituality that's not a guru on a mountain. Like there are people like you that are fucking funny as hell and speak it how it is, that there's just such an opportunity in that to infuse exactly who we are into what we want to share. It doesn't have to look a certain way.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful, that awareness. I literally remember when I tapped into the wisdom within and I quieted my crazy ass mind, which is crazy. Up here is like a constant out of control party that wants to interrupt everyone. And then here I have to go to get my real power. I forgot what I was going to say, but I just love what you're saying so much. Keep talking.
Yeah.
So what is your gift? What would you say?
My gift is helping women awaken to their authentic sexuality, to the power of their sexuality and their innate feminine nature that is built into their biology.
And that is not something everyone does. I mean, that is such a unique perspective and voice. And women are so brought up to, however, how long ago did we get to start to vote? I don't even know, but it was not
very.
Yeah. And it's like sexuality is something we don't even talk that much about.
Yeah.
And I think there's such power in it. And I realized when I met my husband, we got married, I was at a really, I felt unworthy. I was still living my childhood story of unworthiness. And I remember that I didn't even feel worthy of like being touched and all that. And he kind of melted some of my armor. But I realized later I got in the pattern of closing my eyes when we had sex.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was, because I was sleepwalking kind of in my pattern.
Yeah.
And then we just are taking a break right now, trying to figure out if this relationship is still serving us both or if we have more work to do together. So we're noodling with that right now. But I remember thinking like, what would I want? What would I want if I had a chance to be with someone new, or what would that look like when I let my mind kind of go? And the biggest thing was being intimate while I was being intimate. Am I saying that word right? Intimate?
Yeah, intimate, yeah.
Yeah, or being fully naked and vulnerable as I'm naked.
Yeah.
With my eyes wide open. To really own who I am now and my power.
Yeah.
And you help women do that.
Yeah. I mean, I know so many women, and I was certainly one of them, that they don't inhabit their body when they're having sex. Like our bodies have just been such these objects of shame and objectification, and they're for someone else, and we're just kind of these vessels for someone else's pleasure, and all the body image and just all of this junk and shit that we learned. And so for a lot of the women that I work with, and for me, as an actor and a dancer and a performer, I was like, I'm in my body. Like, I know my body. I know how to move my body. I'm in control of my body. And through this work, I was like, I'm not even close. Like, I'm floating somewhere up here and I'm not actually in myself. And it's really hard to have the deep, connected, intimate kind of sex that you want with a partner or with yourself if you're not actually
I love
living
that you
in
just
your
said
body.
with yourself.
Yeah.
That means masturbating?
Yeah. I call it self-pleasure.
Self-pleasure?
Yeah, masturbation. I
Masturbating
think it means
is
something like there is, I don't know the root of the word, but it
seems a little bit dirty. And like when I
Yeah.
say the word masturbate, I want to giggle.
Yeah.
But self-pleasure, I'm like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I like that word better.
And
those two words.
I work with women who are coupled or in partnerships, but a lot of the women I work with are single, and I work a lot with helping women connect to self-pleasure as a healing tool and as a way to create like resilience and widen their capacity to experience more life. So just like the breath work helps do that, I now incorporate the breath work into sexuality work. And, you know, you saying, I live up in my head and I need to come down to the power of my heart. I'd say we need to like go down even deeper. And this is where the true power is. This is where all life begins and starts. And so it's like women are operating at such a small capacity of their potential when they're not connected to
all
their
of us.
pelvis.
Yes, their pelvis.
Yeah.
And I think about this area is a bridge, right? They're all connected.
Yeah.
So here we're crazy ass lost mofos, overthinking shit for no reason. It's getting us nowhere. Here we get to who we really are.
Like compassion
Compassion
empathy.
and love. And and here is where I can feel my soul and my heart. And here's where I can know my direct connection to God. That he or it or she or all of it or universe, the energy, whatever, resides within me. I'm a part of it. And then there can literally be a pleasure dome and a power dome.
Yeah.
Because we're owning being a woman. We're owning it.
Yeah.
And we're not embarrassed about it. We're not shaming about it. We're not. Yeah. How do you do sexual work with women?
Right now I'm working mostly one-on-one. I'm doing an online course coming up soon, which I want to talk a little bit about.
We'll talk about
it some more.
Talk about it now.
Well, let me explain a little bit about the work first,
Okay.
and then how the
That
class
sounds way
works.
better.
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, you know, I have women coming to me, and a lot of times it's really cool because what they're working on is not, I want to have a better orgasm. I want to feel more intimate with my partner. They're coming to me with things like, I want to feel confident in my work. I want to feel whole in my body. I want to feel like I look in the mirror and I fucking love myself. I want to know that I'm sacred.
Wait, stop. People, women listening right now, imagine what your life would be like if you got out of the shower, tapped off the water, dropped your towel, looked in the mirror and go, God damn it, I look good.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang it, I love me. I love my body.
Feel
I feel good. I know who I am. I'm confident. Imagine that, you guys. Imagine how you would walk out your front door with that feeling instead of, if I only lost 5 pounds, will I ever meet anyone? I'm going to get that job. I'm going to get all the crazy ass stuff.
It's totally different.
It's so different.
There's a physiological connection between your vagina and parts of your brain that correlate to self-worth, confidence, and creativity.
Well, how are they connecting? What's happening?
So essentially, women feel more disempowered or more disconnected from self-worth, confidence, and the power of their creativity when we're receiving messages like your pussy's gross or it's ugly or sex is bad. And so literally your vagina responds to stress and it responds to negative messaging like that. And you think about the violence against women and just women who are afraid to walk down the street, like all of the kind of collective shit that we've carried for so long.
Yeah.
That gets stored there. And that creates like tension and disconnect. But when you're experiencing energy flow, when you're experiencing pleasure, when you're actually connected to that space, it's like lighting up parts of the brain that correlate to that confidence. That
Yeah, it's like when anything is lit up in your body, it's lit up here, like it's all connected. Yeah, I like that.
So I really work with women to give them tools that are not mainstream available, that are not Cosmopolitan's 3 steps to the most mind-blowing orgasm.
Yeah.
Like we're going so much deeper.
But that would sell a shitload of copies.
It would.
That title.
It would.
Yeah,
but does
you're
it
changing
actually
people's lives, not just giving them an orgasm.
Yes. And, you know, I was a woman who was like constantly Googling all that stuff. Like, how do I have an orgasm? I didn't have my first orgasm until I was 26 and it was with a vibrator. And up until very recently, I couldn't experience that with a partner. And so
wait. So what I just heard is recently you have experienced that with a partner?
Once I started doing tantric and sexuality work. Yeah.
Okay. Tantra. Okay. I keep hearing that word. I know it has something to do with sex and breathing and stuff. Can you tell me what that word means and then what that looks like?
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in it.
So most Westerners relate Tantra to sex or like the Kama Sutra, but Tantra is actually a philosophy or a way of life that includes the whole of who you are. That includes like that sees all of life.
I have to move everything if we're getting into this kind of talk. I need some room here to expand.
Yes. That essentially includes
spread my
like
legs.
Spread them. That says that all of life experience, yes,
yes,
is
and?
welcome.
Okay,
and
I'm sorry.
Is like a
No, start over
gateway.
because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, okay. I'll start over.
Go.
Okay, Tantra. So a lot of Westerners correlate it to just sex or sexuality practices, but it's actually like a whole way of life, a philosophy. And this correlates to what I do because essentially I'm inviting women to come back to their wholeness. And that's essentially what Tantra does, is it says your sadness, your joy, your pleasure, your anger, like the whole of who you are is allowed in this experience and is actually the gateway for you to awaken to more of who you are and the consciousness and the beauty of what and who you are as a human being. So much spiritual practice kind of invites you to come up and out of the body, connect to something greater or outside. And this Tantra is essentially a way of life or a spiritual practice that says, come home to the body, come home to the body, come home to the body.
Yes. And I'm a huge believer in the only work that we're here to do on the planet is within. All of us, all parts of us. Yeah. I just did a Facebook Live right before I got home today from my exercise class saying, bring in your crazy, bring in your power, bring in your vulnerability, bring in your sadness, bring your joy, and let all of you experience life. Yeah. All parts of our body, all parts of our good or bad, how we judge, whatever, all of it, bring all of it forth unapologetically.
Yeah.
And let all of you experience life, not the face you think people need to see of you. And I think that's why I rattle a lot of cages, because I'm all in life and a seeker, but I'm also wild. And people are like, I think you really crossed the line. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for reminding me I'm on target.
Yeah.
And I'm living exactly the way I want to live.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you
many
for noticing.
women they're so, and I felt like this too. And it's a constant unwinding and learning for me, but just so contracted and so small, all that conditioning to be quiet, to be nice, to be like,
to play small,
to
play small, to not own our space on the planet.
And
yes.
And like so much of orgasmic capacity is allowing emotions, is being able to flow with all of who you are. And so if women can't access their anger, if they can't access rage, if they can't like flow with grief or disgust, then our capacity for all of life, which is sexual energy, which is orgasmic energy, is tamped. It's
tamped.
Like tamped down.
Damn, I haven't heard that word tamped before.
Tamped.
My pussy's tamped. I gotta untamp it. Well, here's what's interesting is I experienced life fully, but when I came into my marriage, I was low level energy, unworthy, all that. And I had sex with my eyes closed for maybe most of our marriage. Like I can remember a few times looking up at him and liking his face and then going right back with my eyes closed to my safe place. I don't ever want to experience that again. And I'm just realizing it during this break that we're having, how hungry I am for deep intimacy. I have it in all arenas of my life except sexual. Yeah. And I also have a hard time having an orgasm, which is interesting to me because there's something hooking me still to not allow myself that freedom. Yeah. I can have it, pleasuring myself and however. And, but when it comes to simply spreading my legs, having, not that it's happening right now, but maybe it is in my mind, having someone, what do you say? I don't want to say eating me out because that sounds so sick. What's a pretty term?
Going down on you?
Going down on me. To allow myself to not think, should I touch his head? Should I do this? Should I do something? Should I put my legs up? Should I let him know but if I do any of that, I can't release and really experience it. Yeah. So I still have to work on, or that's something I look forward to working on.
Yeah. Well, and most women have the experience of kicking ourselves up into the intellectual or kind of the cognitive part, the thinking, the analyzing, the judging, because we don't actually feel fully safe in our bodies. So much of the work I do is helping women create an internal state of safety, which again is something like you may think, oh, I feel safe in my body. I feel safe to be here. But I think 100% of the women that I've worked with, their safety is an essential element that is missing.
Yeah, and especially because you said the collective energy. When there are people on the planet walking this planet with us and all of our energy is connected and people are being beaten or stoned because they glanced at another man or a man made up that they glanced at them, they get killed for it. That's floating around with us. That's floating through us, whether that's our experience or not, that we do have this collective energy. So we are carrying so much of other people's stuff and hopefully showering some love out to the others. You know what I mean? To neutralize it. But I do think that's it. I before I got married, with my low self-esteem, I did a lot of sleeping around, making out in bars, running out before they got my name, you know, because I wanted to feel touched. I wanted to feel loved and connected, but I was not in a place to accept it.
Yeah.
So it was just touch and go for me. And I think that that's where my vagina was, or my pussy. What's a good word for all these words? I can't
use
think.
pussy.
Pussy?
It feels
Pussy's
more empowering
sexy.
than vagina.
Yeah, vagina sounds like masturbate. Pleasuring my pussy.
Yes.
There we go. I'm getting it. But I do think that so long it was a place for me to just unleash, to feel touched and then run, but not to allow myself to be in it, in my heart and in my power. Gosh, I look forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty life-changing when you can start to experience your sexuality as yours. It's not for anyone else, and you can have amazing sex with anyone because the sex is in you.
I'll say that again. It's not for anyone else.
It's not your body, your sexuality is not for anyone else, and it's not anyone else's to dictate how it works or anything like that. It's first and foremost for you, for your own experience, for your own pleasure, for your own goodness.
I mean, I'm going to type that up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it next to me before I pull down my pants to whoever. Husband, if it's you. David, if we're getting back, it could be a whole different ball of wax. I'm just going to lay there and let you do what you do without trying to make you feel like I like what you're doing. I'm just going to experience it. And then maybe have an actual orgasm, right? Without a toy.
Well, and being so much of this work is also about giving women agency to be able to speak up, to be able to move, to be able to like flow in their sexuality from a place. Like so many of the women I work with, and this was true for myself, we just get frozen. We're totally frozen. And we can't expect our partners to be able to track when we're shutting down and we're frozen.
Yeah. Or to mind read what we need.
Yeah.
It's like I've done before too, where David was eating my pussy. What was it? Did we call it?
Going down on it.
You
could say eating your pussy.
Eating my pussy sounds so dirty, but when he did, and I was thinking more about him, not me. I was thinking more about him knowing that he was doing something kind to me, but I wasn't in full acceptance of it, which kept me out of orgasming because I was in my head and that's not where they happen.
Yeah. And that's the conditioning, right? That it's not actually for
me.
Yeah. Or it's a trade. It's like
it's not, this is for me. So when someone's going down on your pussy, that's for you.
Yes.
Accept all of it without consideration of the other person. Just receive it. You don't have to do their hair just right or put your legs right.
And you can be in like a communication and a flow in that experience. So I find that actually like micro shifting is really, really helpful. So if you're having experience where your partner is going down on you and you're starting to like shut down or feel frozen, what is it that you actually need in that moment to come back? How can you communicate that? Maybe it's actually
beautiful.
Like they just need to step off the gas a little bit. Maybe you need just a pause and say, can you look me in the eye and can we breathe together for a moment? Like I'm not fully here. and I so want to be in this experience with you.
I love
But
that.
it's like we're just so fucking conditioned to just roll with it.
Keep
to
your mouth
just keep
shut.
going.
And then you think in your head, if you just go a little lower or move his fingers a different right there, or if you do something, they're not mind readers. You're back in your head. You're not in the experience. And even to be able to say, could you do a little softer there and move your fingers there, to just voice it in a loving way for your pleasure.
Or pause or stop.
I love pause.
Pause is a game changer.
In life. But I've never put that with my pussy.
Yes.
Pussy pause.
Pussy pause.
Oh, I like pussy pause.
I literally, when I started really diving into this work and was having sex with my partner, I would say that. I would say, can we just stop for a second? I need a pause. I need to check in with my pussy and see what's actually going on here.
Because you want to own it. You want to be in one with it.
I want to feel fully embodied. I want to feel like I am so in this experience of myself because it's fucking amazing and beautiful.
So beautiful.
And if I'm experiencing pain or I'm checking out or like I am out of myself, then I need a pause, because moving forward is just creating a lack of trust in my body. And it's creating actual more disconnection. My pussy, because my pussy is learning, oh, we just like get penetrated or we just go ahead with it even when it doesn't feel good for us. But like, what the fuck? Sex should feel good for us.
That's right.
And
be pleasurable. Like it can feel good, but if you don't really allow yourself to be in the feeling of what's actually happening, it's like meditation. As soon as you start thinking about something, you're out of it. As soon as you come back to the breath, as soon as you come back to the what's happening, and you feel it, then you're alive with it.
Yeah.
And not creating barriers or old stories or pulling away or finding something to make it wrong.
And that's a kind of and this is a lot of what I teach, but it's learning a new language for women. It's learning the language of sensation. It's being able to like breathe into different places. It's being able to notice, oh, there's numbness here, or there's tingles, or like what is actually the sensory experience, not the idea of what is happening.
Yeah.
Those are two totally different things.
Yeah.
To like live in the idea of sex and to actually perceive and sense your way through sex. That's where all the flow is. That's where the goodness is. That's where like the magic intimate connection is with yourself or with a partner.
A mindful pussy. Because when I practiced mindfulness for this thing, I was trying to learn what it meant, and I would have a mindful moment every day and talk about it or not, and how I missed something.
Yeah.
But I just remember when I was walking Fryman Canyon fast, going up the hill, and I have my book on tape, and I'm booking up with my dogs. I'm getting my heart rate up. And then my phone died right before. And I was like, shit, I needed to list that book I had. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to look around. Oh, maybe I'll leave my sunglasses in the car and I'll look at everyone's eyes that pass me. And maybe I'll see what's around me. It was the first, I've been walking that for 10 years. It was the first time I saw the mountain. And I remember going up the first part and the sunlight was hitting this tree and it was shimmering. I started crying because I never even knew it was there. Yeah. And the beauty, it was like living art. And I stood there looking at the tree crying, going, how have I missed this? Because I wasn't in the experience. I was in the thoughts and the learning and the walking and not experiencing it. That was such a big opener for me. Yeah. And I think now to apply that to my pussy is such a beautiful gift to give myself.
Yeah.
To not make it anything other than taking care of every inch of my body, letting all of it feel taken care of and heard and pleasured and expressed and sad and yeah. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah. I mean, a pussy heals when it feels like there's no expectation. And like, I don't have to have sex. I don't have to feel pleasure. Nothing has to happen. This isn't just a machine that like we put the coin in and we're supposed to have an orgasm or we're supposed to like have
I would like sex. If it would be that easy though.
I'd
be putting in a lot of quarters.
But the more that you give your body and your pussy space to just be where she is, the more that those things just open up.
Do you call her she?
I do. Yeah. I think of her as like
a good friend who needs you.
My best.
Your best friend.
Yes.
Okay, your best friend is
like an
pussy.
oracle. She's a fucking oracle.
What does an oracle mean?
Like all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful being.
Yeah.
This is the gateway to life.
Hello?
Like, I mean, I know that we know that, but like, are we really knowing that? Really?
Well, what does that mean to you? This is the gateway to life. What would you really know about that you think people might not be knowing?
That it's
What's that?
Sacred. That it's so beautiful in all of its experience. That like it should be worshipped and honored and loved and cared for.
Yeah.
Like it's a sacred portal.
It's literally like God was like, I got the body done. How can I top this off? How can I do the cherry on top to show them all of pleasure of life, all that's available to them? And then we each, men and women, got a little something down there to take us there when we allow ourselves to get in touch with it and to become best friends with it.
Yeah.
Right? Then we get to experience the full freedom of being intimate with someone or ourselves.
Because you think about, and even for me, I haven't had very many sexual partners, but
I haven't either.
All of, and it, either way, it doesn't. It's like
however we need to learn.
It doesn't matter.
However we need to learn, yeah.
But even in that, like so much of the sex that I had, my first sexual experiences were really negative, and how much sex I was having when I didn't want to be having sex, when it didn't feel good. All of those experiences, they kind of get packed away here.
It's so interesting you just said when you didn't feel good, because I've heard women say, I have sex with my husband whenever he wants because I don't want him going out and doing it with someone else. It's like, what? But I couldn't imagine really feeling bad and not being able to say, I don't feel good. Hold me, put your arms around me, rub my back. Yeah. But we feel like an obligation to perform or take care. I think that goes with women just in general. We feel an obligation to be caretakers. Yeah. Instead of receivers.
And again, like our sexuality is for someone else.
Yeah.
It's to keep a partner. It's to like make someone love me. It's to whatever, to please someone else. It's like, what are we missing here? Like, what the?
How did that get flipped upside down?
Like really, and I posted about this on my Instagram today, but I hear so many women say that they get really self-conscious in how long it takes them to be ready for sex or how long it takes them to orgasm.
I'm self-conscious about that.
Having an orgasm.
It takes me forever to have an orgasm from having my pussy eaten.
But let me ask you this. If male sexuality was not the standard, would that be true?
Say that more, because I'm not connecting.
So kind of most of us, I'd say all of us, learned about sexuality from movies, from porn, from our awful sex ed, probably from our first partners. And especially if they were male, we learned that sexuality looks like this. It looks like quick arousal. It looks like being ready to go in 3 minutes or less. And it means a steady build upward and then a climax and ejaculation, and then it's over. But that's not how female sexuality works. It actually takes women 35 to 45 minutes to become fully aroused.
I can get aroused fast.
You can get aroused fast, but is your pussy fully aroused? Because you have your clitoris, but your clitoris is actually a network that goes all the way inside your vagina. So it's kind of like this wishbone shape. And your clitoris has the same amount of erectile tissue that a male penis does.
Wait, is the clitoris where the pee hole is?
It's above it.
It's right above it.
Yes.
Okay.
See, this is the other thing too. We don't even know our own fucking anatomy.
Well, I thought when I was getting on my clitoris and having a nice time, that was actually my pee hole, but it's right above it.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I've got a great pee hole.
You
so
probably
pleasurable.
do. I mean, the areas around that can be pleasurable too.
Yeah, they're that close. Yeah.
But,
And then what's the kind of the little meatloaf on the side?
The inner and outer labia.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
But kind of back to this standard.
Education at 53 of my vagina. I need to get out a pie chart or a chart and a pointer.
Yes.
To remind myself that my pee hole is not my
amazing
pleasure center.
I mean, it can be a pleasure center for sure. But so we have the same amount of erectile tissue. So that means, as much as a flaccid penis to an erect penis grows, that's how much capacity we have as well to be fully engorged.
So we swell?
Yes. And if you aren't allowing the space and the time for that full engorgement, then you're not having the best sex that you can have.
Wow. So how can it, it could take a woman, maybe, you said how, 45 minutes?
35,
it could take
45 minutes.
I'm going to say it could take someone 10, it could take someone an hour. There's probably a spread, right, from the average. So you can tell when your stuff is nice and fluffy.
Yes.
Full.
Yeah. And
I'd there's say blood there, like a penis.
Yeah. Because just you can't have sex with a flaccid penis. It just doesn't work.
Do you say penis or cock? Because penis is like vagina and cock is like pussy.
I say both. You can't have sex with a flaccid cock. If you think about that, it just doesn't work.
Cock sounds so much more fun and dirty and wild.
Yes.
Penis, yeah.
But so in the same way, you aren't having the full experience of your sexuality if you're having sex when you're not barely aroused or halfway aroused.
I've never heard this before.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. So if you jump right in because the guys want to move fast, you're not ready and you're not going to have your best experience.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If male sexuality wasn't the standard and female sexuality was, so our whole framework was based on a woman takes this long to get aroused and these are the ways that we do that and this is how the trajectory goes. And men were the ones that had to really manage their arousal and their desire to keep so until we were ready. Then this whole thing would be different.
Yes. Is that tantric or tantric? What do you call it?
Tantric.
Tantric? Is that tantric?
Yeah.
I thought tantric was like when you are sexually with someone that you're using your breathing and stuff to not jump ahead of the game or give, that you're letting it be an experience for both of you.
Yeah.
Instead of, I got in there.
Yes. I'm really? Is that the kind of sex we want to be having?
But what I want to say about that sex is, my generation, we didn't have, you're training people right now. And I'm sure there were people doing that, but it was not that prevalent. There was not the internet. There was not that. We couldn't go online and look stuff up. We had to go to a card catalog in the library.
Yeah.
No cell phones, so it's when I met my guy, my love of my life, we just got into a pattern of where we were, not at it as an exploration of where we are now.
Yeah.
And I think unless you wake up, or right now, we have a little foundation shaking in our relationship and we're taking some time to navigate it. In this space, I'm learning what is important to me now. Yeah. What do I want that I will no longer settle for not having? How do I know I'm to be living my life, in my real power?
Yeah.
And that's when with marriage, especially, it's I was born, you don't divorce. End of story.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, you should divorce if one person sits down and the other one's still walking, because you're no longer partnered. You're unequally yoked.
Yeah.
And that's not what a partnership is, or a marriage. So I'm just really allowing myself time in this time to get really clear, because I'm not in the routine of sleepwalking. What do I want?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And how will I create that with my favorite person on the planet, Dave? Or if that goes, what I will only allow coming in, moving forward.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place to be. This is where I'm learning where change, or things that we think are scary, like divorce, or those kind of things that we label something. It's a fucking brilliant awakening.
Yeah.
And a brilliant time to soar, or to hold your partner if they're with you, and get deeply back into it and say, this is how I want it to look, and get a new game plan.
Yeah.
But I do not believe in sleepwalking anymore.
No.
And if you're in a marriage and you're asleep, that's not why we're here. We're here to experience joy and abundance and love. Crazy joy, abundance, and love. It starts here. I think when we get it here too, we can only attract things that are there. Instead of going, hey, you want to come up here? It's fine. Why don't we open our eyes this time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and when women are really connected to their authentic power and their full agency, they attract totally different partners.
Totally. And I feel like I am a different person than the girl who laid down on her
So
first
different.
time with him with my eyes closed. I've evolved so much. And I feel like this is my final frontier of
Yes.
liberation for myself.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of why I entered this work is my teacher, Layla Martin. She says, you look her up. She's fucking amazing.
I know she is because you worked with her and you're doing amazing work.
She's incredible. She's a Tantra teacher. She teaches all over the fucking world. Like,
what does Tantra teaching mean, though? What do you teach?
You teach embodiment. You teach awareness. You teach sensation, breath work, moving sexual energy. You teach, like, that there's...
How do you move sexual energy? You mean if it's blocked or moving?
Just in general. So you want
a flow,
an orgasm to last longer rather than all of the sensation being localized in your genitals, in your pussy, in your clit, in your penis. How do you move the sexual energy? So then you can start to experience full body orgasm. You can experience orgasm in different parts of your body. I've had a heart orgasm.
What?
Yes.
How did that feel?
Fucking amazing. Like, my heart was like exploding open. Yeah.
And your pussy?
And it was feeling good in my pussy, but most of the sensation,
but the orgasm was not two
opening
orgasms at once. It was here. Oh, wow. So sexual feeling and pleasure and excitement and build up and can be moved around as like vitamin water for your whole body.
Yes. And then you can use it in self-pleasure. Literally, it's nourishment. You think about how receptive and open your body is during meditation. I'd say times that by 100 or 1,000 when you're working with sexual energy.
Wow. And I felt that when we went to the stars with the breathing work, and I felt my whole body was vibrating and the colors that I saw and the beauty I was exposed to with my eyes closed just from breathing. I was like, wow, you tap pussy into that?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
How come most women can have an orgasm outside, but not from sex? I have not had an orgasm having sex. Should I be able to, or our body's just different?
All women can experience that if they want to, for sure.
Without porn or a vibrator?
Yes.
Oh gosh, am I gonna have to sign up for your freaking class?
Yes.
Damn it! Can I ever stop learning?
Yes. I mean,
no, don't ever stop learning because then we go home.
Look, clitoral orgasms are wonderful, but I mean, again,
you can have an orgasm from just a penis going inside.
Yes.
But what if it's not hitting my pee hole above my area?
Look, you got to experiment with that, but awakening sexual energy, opening up more sensation in your pussy. A lot of times, like, women are using vibrators and they want it to happen so fast that this was true for me. Turning up the vibration so fucking hard that it's blasting through any numbness, any like disconnect. And it's just like, whoa. And then it's over.
Yes.
But like, you want to start to experience like pulsing and waves of energy and like a connection to the fucking divine. Start exploring internal stimulation more by yourself.
By yourself. Oh, that takes pressure off.
Yeah. It's like, you got to practice before you get in the game with your partner.
When you're working with people, do they lay with their vagina exposed and you're showing them stuff? Or
no.
Yeah, no, good. Because that's a little bit too vulnerable.
Although I am planning on doing a workshop around taking back the speculum. This is a little bit of a side track, but helping women do pelvic exams for themselves and see their cervix.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't feel that I want that right yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all right.
But
I do.
No, I'm not. Most of my work is one-on-one.
Some girl who would masturbate people, like they had some sort of like healing masturbate circle or something.
Yeah.
She was someone that I knew who was really like that. And I was just like, I can't even imagine that, but I just want to do it with myself right now to get my groove on.
Absolutely.
To know what's possible for me. So what would be my first step?
So your first step.
Like if people are watching today and they're not going to sign up, like what's a little kickstart to begin connecting with your pleasure and allowing it to flow and not become something you have to make people happy with?
Yeah.
make yourself happy and stuff?
Well, what I would do is I would set aside time. I would set aside 30 minutes. I would like set a timer. I would set up my space like I was a sex goddess, like a tantrika, like a sacred being. So light the candles, get the furry blanket, like put the kimono on, whatever. And
You had me at kimono.
right? Or the caftan, or, you know, like something that feels good on your
Yeah,
skin.
yeah.
And first, I would say, like, start exploring your body without hands straight to clit or straight to pussy. Like, what is it to just like be in this experience of touching my skin here? Like, even that. And how would I touch myself if I was fully allowed to experience myself, my pleasure right now? A lot of times what really blocks us is all the beliefs that we've learned around pleasure. Pleasure is bad. I don't deserve pleasure.
I want to say real quick that this is reminding me of the thing I keep coming back to with Gandhi saying, be the change you want to see in the world. It's literally touch yourself like you are dreaming of what your dream touch would be from a man or a woman. Touch yourself that way. Like start allowing yourself to take care of yourself like that instead of needing someone else to.
Yeah. And really connect with the sensations. So, you know, I work with a lot of women where they're like, I only get off to porn or I have to fantasize, and we strip all that away and they're like, oh my God, I experienced my body like I'm a fucking sexual spiritual goddess. Like, what the fuck was I doing?
Because I fantasize.
And not that it's bad.
No, but I
like,
want to not need that crutch or
Yeah.
tool or porn or any of that. Yeah.
So what is the
That I'm
pleasure
enough.
that I can, yes.
I'm enough
Yes.
to have pleasure. I'm enough to feel myself. I'm enough to allow myself without needing anybody or thing
Yeah.
to be involved.
Yes.
That's a gift.
And
That's
the
freedom.
whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I am a fully alive, fully worthy being of life.
Exactly
Sexual
as
energy
I
is
am.
life energy.
Yeah.
And so take that time. And you'll start to notice immediately what comes up. Like, oh my God, this is so boring. Or like, this is taking too long. Or what
No,
am I
because
supposed
I
to be doing?
instantly
Like,
thought it felt nice.
good. Yeah. And even doing that throughout the day. Like, how often do you touch yourself to bring yourself into a state of regulation? Like, yeah, touch your boobs.
We're going to touch her boobs. You don't wear a bra.
No.
Is that just because you're a liberated woman or you just feel better?
I feel better. I don't like
Or
it.
everything.
Yeah.
It's very sassy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I'd say, so set up some time for yourself. Get some oil, get some music that you like, and just see what starts to come up. Really connecting with sensation. Use your 5 senses. Create a little ritual for yourself. Get some fruit. Get something beautiful, natural flowers to smell. Touch your skin like you've never touched it before. Look at your body like you're an alien and you're seeing a human form for the first time. Like hear the wind or the music.
Oh, wait, I like that because we don't ever take our time to look at us.
Yeah.
You know, to see what other people see.
Slow down. Appreciate. Like this is
And I have to
magnificent.
say, you have to think of that. You have to come from that perspective. This is magnificent as opposed to, oh my gosh, look how long my arm hairs are.
Yeah.
My skin is shriveling faster than I imagined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you're out of it.
Yeah.
It's that's awareness, but those are judgments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of just noticing it and letting it be what it is, not
Yeah.
making it good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we have those critical thoughts, like, okay, that's allowed to be here. And I'm going to come back to like the feeling, like sensory experience. Such a simple way to get you really
Oh my gosh,
connected
we
to
live
your
so
body.
outside of ourselves.
So externally referenced.
We look here for validation. We look here for pleasure. We look
Mhm.
here for acceptance. It's all here.
Yeah.
This time I put my hand on my pussy and my
Yeah.
heart,
It's all there.
but it's all here.
Mhm. And, you know, just like you probably tap in and connect with your heart and try to listen to its messages and what it has to say, put your hand over your pussy. How's she feeling today? Does she respond to your hand? Is there disconnect? Like what
Yes.
is she trying to communicate with you?
And I had this thing where I put my hand on my heart and I say, I'm here. This is to me, to my true self.
Yes.
I'm here. I've got you. I'm listening. Like, what do you need from me?
Yes.
And you can do the same thing
Yeah.
there.
Like immediately just even thinking about saying that to her, like, I'm here, I'm listening, I got you. I feel her warmth there. I feel opening there.
Yeah.
And that commitment to, because, you know, you're not going to start this most often. And, you know, you could, but feel like the most amazing pleasure and orgasm you've ever had. It's a process. And it's about like, I'm going to be with myself no matter what shows up here.
Yeah.
If it's sadness, I have the space to let that sadness flow.
I'll cry if I need to.
If it's anger, if it's whatever,
Yeah.
if it's numbness, I'm going to just breathe. You can do, that's something I would recommend. Just do some really gentle pussy breathing. So inhale and exhale just out of the mouth as if you were breathing all the way down into your pelvis and that breath was moving in and out of your pussy. And just because where breath
I just
and
did
awareness
it with my
flows,
legs crossed and I still felt it.
Like, you know, just like if we,
like I should open my legs a little bit because we're doing this pussy talk and I'm clamped up.
Yeah.
What's happening?
But so bring your awareness there, bring your breath, like bring those tools, those simple tools of life and just start to see what happens.
Yeah.
And then
just want to have a little space in case something wants to breathe down there while we're talking.
And keep following like pleasure. Like what, like I imagine, and I teach my clients this a lot, like sex is like this beautiful improv between people, right? Like you have to know your instrument. You have to like be in tune with the other person. And so if you're doing this in self-pleasure, I like to think of being in flow with the energy of pleasure. So if me and pleasure were having a dance, if we were like having a musical jam sesh, like I have to listen to how that energy wants to move.
I love that you said musical jam sesh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's this amazing YouTube video. I forget the woman's name, but it's called Jam. And it's this little animation about how sex is like a jam session, a musical jam session.
Jam. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Tell me about your upcoming workshop. When is it and what's happening? Well, I think the online one.
Online class. Yes. So I have an online class that's starting October 2nd. It's called The Awakened Woman. So it's 5 weeks online journey that's all about giving you so many tools to help you reconnect to your body, to like reclaim your full sovereignty as a sexually empowered woman. So the way that it works is it's 5 weeks long. Each week you get a module. So you'll open it through like an online platform. And in there you get a little lecture video from me explaining the content and the practices. You get guided audios. So that might be breast massage. It might be breath work. It might be self-pleasure, sex magic, like lots of different tools that you get to do on your own. I'm going to curate playlists for the practices,
beautiful.
which is going to be really fun. And then you get live calls with me. So you get to ask questions. I get to really unpack this information even more and share my own experiences in it. And then you get a Facebook group where you can connect with other women. You can share your experience. You can ask me more questions, all of that good stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing.
I think for me, because I have so much of my own stuff that that I would rather, because I can work with you in person rather than having to go look, that stuff. But what I love about the internet is that it's available to the world.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you live. You can have access to this freedom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I do, I really created this course because in my one-on-one work with women, I hear over and over again, oh my gosh, I wish every woman had access to this information. I wish everyone had these tools. I wish every woman could feel this level of self-love and embodiment in herself. And so this is my way of giving more and more people more access. Because it's so, I think this sexuality is so vital in women's empowerment.
Oh my.
Like, absolutely.
You can't fully stand in your power if you don't stand with your pussy.
Yeah.
In your power.
Yeah.
Right?
She was like, yep. Totally.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So as much as we think we're doing this and we're in it, it's like if this is dead or this isn't in the same flow, you're not fully connected to all of life flow.
Yeah.
I learned so much today. I really am tickled about it. And I think the thing I like the best is it starts with me.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything big. I don't have to buy anything. I don't have to hope I do it right. I
Mhm.
have to just start getting in touch with
Yeah.
touch with my body,
Yeah.
and not even going straight to my pussy, but allowing exploration of all of me.
Yeah. Seeking.
And I deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start seeking pleasure throughout your day. Like, what would make this experience more pleasurable? Maybe for you, it was like, I'm going to open my legs. Or I'm going
I
to
was
shift.
like, why am I
Or like,
talking about
I'm going to
this
get a
with
drink
my-
of water. Or
with my legs crossed?
like,
yeah.
really creating relationship to pleasure. And then, yeah, like seek circles, read books, like really get curious about this stuff, because
Curiosity, you guys, is the magic to life.
Yeah.
Curiosity. If you're complacent and you're comfortable, you are out of your groove. We're
Yeah.
here to be outside of our comfort zone and to be curious. Oh my gosh, there's so much to be curious about. Even someone glancing me a certain way in the elevator, I'm like, can I ask you something? I just saw how you looked at me. Here's how I read it. Is that true? And they're like, yeah, I can't stand you. No, but you know what I mean? Just exploring that. I go, that was such a sweet smile. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. And then I'm in this beautiful conversation, and we're really seeing each other, and I'm filled, my heart's full.
Yeah.
Instead of I'm marching to Sephora really fast to grab my stuff and then get the shoes, and it's like slowing down to see the freaking gems.
Yeah.
I was going to say all around us, but now we're talking about our gems of our genitals, our genital gems,
Your diamond pussy.
our diamond little.
Yeah.
You know what? Will Ferrell used to always say every time I saw him, if we do something with and Dave, and he'd always come up, he'd go, Diamond Leigh. And it always made me giggle because I was like, what? I was like, thanks, Will.
Sure.
Okay. But now I was like, I like that diamond, that's my gem.
Mm-hmm.
That's my jam and my gem.
Yeah.
Right. And to access that, that's the feminine power, which is strong power.
Yeah. And
It's soft and strong
soft
and sensual.
and flowy and like,
yeah.
doesn't give a fuck about getting shit done. Like, it just wants to be in the experience of life.
And if you really allow it to be so, you will be greatly rewarded.
You sure will. You sure will.
So if you love her and if her and I get on the same page, not only can you do her online thing. Oh, wow. I was not sorry. I just saw myself. Back to being human. And going, what happened? But that we're talking about her possibly coming and doing some breathing work and sexual work at my workshop. We haven't firmed it up, but I have a good feeling about it. October 18 through 20, she's going to be here. So if you love her, book a ticket. If you book it today, we'll give it to you for half price.
Woo!
And you can experience her in person because you'll see that she is thin and tall and darling, but she's powerful beyond measure because she's tapped into her power. And I think that's what's attracted me to you. When I did your breathwork class, it's like, oh shit, this girl knows what she's doing. She's got it going on. She's in her power and she's helping other women. I don't think there's anything more beautiful than that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, do so now. Come to my event and get her and sign up for her online thing, which we will put a link to this. We'll put a link on this thread.
Yeah.
And then we also will when it gets released in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. And you can also just check out my website, whitneyullom.com.
Spell your last name, please.
Ullom.
I did tag her in this, though, if you need to look.
Also open for one-on-one coaching and here for questions. And if you want to connect, I'd love to.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we could also do one time where it's not for podcast. It's just Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And people can ask questions and we can answer. Or you can answer.
Read the comments.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to end the podcast and then we'll keep that on if you want to communicate a little bit with people. If you guys have questions, you can type them on Facebook Live.
Cool.
And if you guys are listening to the podcast, you can reach out to her at that time.
Can't wait to hear from you.
I can't wait to touch your body right now and share our sexual pussy energy.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much, doll.
Thank you.
I do want to actually hug.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're like a ballerina. Were you a ballerina?
In a past life,
I think I was an exotic gypsy dancer.
Yes, you were. I love that skirt.